Good afternoon. Today, because of technology issues, we are just using the document camera instead of the smartboard. So bear with me as we work this out. We are working on CO6. I can find the least common multiple of a set of numbers. Yesterday we were a few days ago, we worked on the greatest common factor. Factors are what we break the number down into, those factor buddies. Now we're working on multiples. Multiples of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Multiplying it up. We're not breaking it down. Now we're multiplying up. Okay. This is our last objective for this unit. We will be doing the practice test on Monday. Tomorrow's a Friday, so we'll do Khan Academy and retakes. Practice test will be on Monday. We will not do the real test on Tuesday like we normally would do because it is the reading math test on Tuesday. So we will do practice tests on Monday. We'll review everything on Tuesday, and we'll do the real test on Wednesday. So it's your job to make sure you have a help sheet ready to go that you can use on the test. Remember, help sheets, we do not do examples. You can write out definitions. What is the absolute value? What is an integer, a rational number, a whole number? You can't give examples, but you can write out things. Okay? And we'll talk more about that next week. So let's look at today, the least common multiple. So the greatest common factor was GCF. The least common multiple is the LCM. So to talk about the least common multiple, we need to talk about what a multiple is and how that is different than a factor. A multiple are numbers a given number can go into. You can find it. It's found by skip counting. Multiples of 3, we are going to count by threes. 3, 6, 8, 10, 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 21, 18, 21. So you do 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times 5, 3 times 6. Those are all multiples of 3. Multiplying them up. So remember how factors and multiples differ can be tricky. Right? There's a lot of my friends in the past that have gotten confused, and when it asks for multiples, they give me the factors. So always remember, factors are the numbers we can break it down into. So factors of 12 would be that 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So factors, think factor buddies. What number do I multiply with another number to get that given number? So what two numbers multiply together to get 12? 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Those are factor buddies. So if you see what is the greatest common factor, think factor buddy. Least common multiples, remember we are multiplying up. So multiples of 12. 1 times 12, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, 12 times 4, 12 times 5, 12 times 6, 12 times 7, and so on. So multiples, you're multiplying up. Factors are the factor buddies. Okay. When you make your help sheet, you're going to want to list for CO6 multiples. Skip count up, right? So you want to remember, multiply up. Multiples are different than factors, and it is really easy to confuse them. So we have different ways that we can find those multiples. The first one, method 1, would be finding the least common multiple. So we've got using the MCL method. So the M is you're going to list all the multiples of the numbers. So if we have 6 and 10, well, I take that back. We can't list all the multiples because they go on forever. We're going to list multiples up through 10. Okay? So 1 times the number, 2 times the number, 3 times the number. So if we look at 6, what are the multiples of 6? Who can start listing them for me? Claire, go ahead. 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and 60. Alright, so I'm going to list those first 10 multiples. Then we have multiples of 10. So what I have to do for the second number that I'm listing, I'm going to list multiples until I hit one that matches. Okay? Who can list the multiples of 10 for me? Luke. Do I need to go any farther? No, I'm going to stop there because I see that they share that 60. Do they only share 60? Is there any other multiples that they share, Addie? They also share that 30. So going up to that 10, I saw that they shared I stopped at that 60, but I missed that they also shared the 30. So I'm going to look at that C for common. What multiples did I list that they all had in common? Well, I listed 30 and 60. Now the L stands for least. Least means the smallest. What's the smallest multiple that they share in common? Fallon? 30. So the least common multiple is 30. So first you list multiples, then you write any common ones that they had that you listed. Then you find the smallest of them, the least. Let's look at our next method. Let me try to get it a little closer. All right. Now it says, find the least common multiple using the table method. We use the table method with the greatest common factors. So we're going to do the same method, but I'm going to show you what we multiply in the end. It's going to be different. Okay, so we start off the exact same way. So remember with that table method, I have 6 and I have 10, and I'm making that table. Who remembers what's the first step with that table method, Fallon? Yeah, I'm going to find the factor I can divide out of both of them. So what number can I divide out of both 6 and 10? Christina? The 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Is there another factor that I can divide out? There's not. Now, when we were doing the greatest common factor, we multiplied only those factors that we took out. For the least common multiple, we're going to make an L going around like that. Least common multiple means we do an L. So we are going to multiply all those numbers, all the factors we pull out, and the very bottom numbers. So this time we only pulled out one time. So we're going to multiply together. 2 times 3 times 5. 2 times 3 is 6 times 5. And look at that, we get the same answer. The least common multiple of 6 and 10 is 30. How are we feeling about using that method? Let's try doing one using 3 numbers and see how it works when we're doing the 3 numbers. So let's do you know what? We're just going to do this one down here at 9, 15, and 18. Let's do Let's do 15 and 21 together, and then we're just going to do this one together. So we'll do 2, and then we'll do 3, so we understand. We get how to do the listing method, right? That one's pretty basic. List all their multiples, find the common multiples that they have, find the smallest one. It's the table method that's a little bit more new for us, so we're going to do a couple of those together. So down here it says find the least common multiple of each set using both methods. So we need to list, let me see if I can bring it up. We need to first do our listing method with 15 and 21. What are my multiples of 15? Ruby? No, that's a factor. Multiples. We're skip counting up by 15s. Eleanor?
30.
Well, we start with 15 times 1. So you always start with multiplying by 1. Then you're right, multiplying by 2 gives me 30. What's 15 times 3? If you know it, just say it.
45.
15 times 4. 15 times 5. 15 times 6. 15 times 7. 15 times 8. I'm going to stop there. Just because, that's a lot of numbers. Sometimes we stop and we do the second number and we stop and we go, they don't share any. You need to skip count higher up. Okay? We're going to stop at the 8 because that's a lot of numbers. Let's count by 21s. 21 times 1 is 21. 21 times 2. 42. 21 times 3. 21 times 4. 21 times 5. 21 times 6. It's 126. Do we share any in common? Addie? 105. Do I share anything smaller than 105? No, so I know my least common multiple using the listing method is 105. But now I have to do it with the table method. So I'm going to do 15 and 21. What factor do they share that I can pull out of 15 and 21? Claire?
3.
A 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 21 divided by 3 is 7. Remember, I make an L because I can't divide that 5 and 7 any lower. So I've got 3, 5, and 7. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 times 7 is, look at that, 105. Doing it with 3 numbers is a little bit different. So we have our listing method. I've got 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, 9 times 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to stop there because that's all I can squeeze a 10 on. So now I'll count by 15s. 15 times 1, 15 times 2, 15 times 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm going to do it with my 18s. 18 times 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5 times 6. All right, so I see, ooh, look at that, 18 and 18. Is that my least common multiple? Why not, Camilla? Because all three of them don't have 18 as a multiple. I need to find a multiple that all three of them have. What multiple do all three of them have, Eleanor? 90. That is the only one that all three share that I have listed, so that's my least. Now let's see how that works with our table method. I've got my 9, my 15, and my 18. What number can I divide out of all three of those numbers? What factor should I divide out, Natalie? 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 6 divided by 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now here's the thing with the least common multiple route. I'm going to look and see, is there any factor that I can divide out of all three or two of them? Is there another number that I can divide out? Claire?
2.
Out of at least two of them? Not 2. Beckett? A 3. I can say 3 divided by 3 is 1. 5 I can't divide by 3, so I'm just going to bring that 5 down. What is 6 divided by 3? 2. So now, can I divide a number out of 1, 5, and 2? No. There's not a factor I can divide out of out of any of them that would match with another one.
Well, not a whole number. Oh, wait, no.
So I'm going to make my L. And I'm going to say 3 times 3 times 1 times 5 times 2. Use your calculator. What does that equal? 3 times 3 times 1 times 5 times 2. What do you get, Michael? 90. It is the same answer, that least common multiple. So if you can list them all out, or you can use that table method. If you're doing the table method with more than 2 numbers, you have to be able to pull a number out of at least 2 of them. If you don't pull a number out of it, if it's not a factor of it, you just bring that number straight down. Okay? So, on our second page, the directions say, find the least common multiple of each set of numbers. Show your work. Some of us are going to look at a couple of these sets of numbers and say, oh, I can do it in my head. You need to show me what method you used. Are you doing multiples? Show me your list of multiples. I should not see an answer only. When the directions say show your work, you're going to show your work. So if you're doing multiples going up, do the multiples. If you're going to do the table method, do the table method. Show one of the ways. Okay? Again, you must show your work or you will not get credit for this homework. Our third page, just like with the greatest common factors, you're doing the same work even though they put words in with it. Okay? We're finding the least common multiple. There might be a second question. Make sure you're answering the question that it is asking. Does that make sense? Now, we have 3 minutes of class left and a lot of work to do. Listen carefully. What do we do on Fridays? What do we do in math class on Fridays? Vivi? Retakes and Khan Academy. So you're gonna decide for yourself, do I want to do all of this homework tonight, which is totally fine. I know what I'm doing, it's fresh on my mind, I'm gonna take care of it tonight. Do I want to work on it in math class tomorrow? First things first, you have to do retakes tomorrow if you have any entrance exam retakes. There's only nobody has more than 1 or 2 that they need to do tomorrow. That's not gonna take the whole class period. So you can decide, do I want to work on it in class tomorrow? Do I want to have time to do my Khan Academy in class tomorrow? So I'm going to do the homework tonight. It's your choice. We are not correcting this tomorrow. We will correct it on Monday. Do not forget to do it. So if you decide, oh, I want to do it later, you have to remember to do it later. If you're one of my friends that's like, I'm going to forget, do it tonight. Okay, so we have a couple of minutes of work time right now. We will have class tomorrow. If you have questions, you can ask me questions tomorrow. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.